Hang on. I wonder if it's having trouble because I'm downloading.
Oh no.
Okay, we are now recording.
Okay.
All right, so we're back with Sheldon. He's going to tell us a story off the live radio. This is a YouTube exclusive. Let's go.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay, so in early 2018, because our sighting actually happened in later of 2018, we had gone to an area that is well known, at least to us, that they have the Sasquatch. I mean, it's so common there that the people just don't even bother reporting or anything anymore. So we had made a plan that the three of us were actually gonna load up Dustin's side by side. You know those whatever there are, those 4-wheeled off-road things. And we were going to drive up to an old abandoned mine that's there. Now, this road is like one of those ones that goes up and it goes like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we make our plans and Stanley bails on us. Stanley's the third guy in our group.
Oh,
okay. No. Okay, so that's first thing that goes wrong. We were supposed to leave at 9 a.m. Dustin gets protein powder in its sinuses because he works out like a maniac and
ouch.
So he got protein powder up his sinus, which is, I don't know how he did that. So we had to wait. And then we finally decided about 2:00 in the afternoon. Oh, it's getting kind of late. Do we want to go? And we thought, well, let's just go. We'll check it out. We have the side by side. We'll just go for a couple of hours. So we drive, and it takes about an hour and a half to get to where we were going from where I live. And we get there. If he didn't forget the damn key in his pocket, in his other pants before he changed before he left.
Oh, no.
So that's like the third thing that's gone wrong. So we said, well, we drove all this way. Let's just walk up to the first clearing because the road switchbacks up, and then there's a clearing up here. So I said, we'll just walk up to this clearing. It'll take us, half an hour. We'll do some calls, we'll do some knocks, and we'll leave. Let's do something. We've driven out here. So we're walking up, and there's this big, like it's probably about as big as like a Pinto. This big, huge boulder placed in the middle of this road that has no business being there.
Yeah.
There's no way that it rolled down because it was kind of flat on the bottom. And it didn't roll through the trees, but it was perfectly placed in the middle of the road. And it was like, well, that's weird. Like, who put that there? Like, maybe they don't want trucks or something up here or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So we didn't take that into account when we went up. So we went around the rock. We walked up to the clearing, and we take a bat with us to do our tree knocks and stuff. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to go do a couple of knocks over at this tree over here. Just you tell me if you hear anything on that side. So I walked about 25 feet away from Dust, and I did a couple of knocks, and I turned around and I looked at Dust, and his eyes were huge, and he's like this. And I'm like, what? Like I'm mouthing the words like, what? And he's like, and I'm like, just like relax. Because he's got a reputation of being kind of,
jumpy.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's a nice way to put it. So I said, okay, I just kind of waved him down. Like, just give me a minute. Like, we're not leaving yet. We're fine. So I did a couple more knocks, and my back is towards, like, he's standing behind me about 25 feet. And my back's, and I'm listening, and I turned around, and now he's really, like, panicking. He's like, get over here. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine, let's go. Let's get out of here. So I get to him, and I was like, what? Like, what? What's going on? He goes, there's something over there. It's walking towards here. And I'm like, what? I just thought he was hearing things and whatnot. It's okay, let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go home. So we start walking back down the road, and all of a sudden I can hear it. And it's like boom, 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 boom. Like as we're walking, it was paralleling us. But it was staying in the tree line, so we couldn't actually see it. So I stopped, and I turned around, and as soon as I stopped, it stopped. And then I turned around again, and I looked at Dustin. I was like, is that what you heard? And he goes, yes, let's go. And so I said, okay, let's go. And then as soon as we started walking, and panic hadn't set in at this point. So we started walking again, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. It was following us. It wanted us off the mountain. And at this point, I stopped again, and I looked. And as soon as I stopped, it stopped again. And I could hear, And it's like, oh, okay, time to go. And it was just
Oh,
instant fear right from the top of my head, right to the tip of my toes, right to the tip of my fingers. I was just instant fear. I started shaking. I started sweating, and it was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what? And I knew what it was. So I looked at Dustin. I said, okay, we got to go. We got to go. Let's go. Let's get out of here. And so one thing I remembered somebody told me is never run, never ever run, because when you run, you become prey. So we were walking really, really fast. Let's put it that way.
that's funny.
So we get down to we start walking down and we get to the switchback and we started walking back down to where the truck is parked. And as we switched back, you could hear it cross the road into the tree line that was in between the two roads there. And it started paralleling us again. And it's like, oh my God. And, things are going through my head. I'm thinking, oh my God, there's going to be some big hands grabbing me by the shoulder and dragging me into the woods. And this is how I die. This is
Oh
how I really
no,
thought, like, this is how I'm going to die. This thing
this
is,
is it.
and we got about 20 feet to the truck and it just stopped. Everything stopped. There was not a sound to be heard. There was no crickets, no birds, no nothing. It was just, everything was dead silent. And I turned, and oh, by the way, while I'm walking, I hear this voice in my head that's saying, don't turn around. Do not turn around. You do not want to see what's behind you. Do not turn around. So I kept my head down, looking at the road, walking forward the whole time. But by the time we got to the truck and everything stopped, I looked around, looked down my back, and there was nothing there. And I just kind of yelled out, sorry, we're leaving you. We're getting out of here. And so we got in the truck and like, I'm so scared. Like my hands are shaking so bad. I can't grab the door handle to pull it open so I can get in. And we go to my father, or we actually ended up going home. My father-in-law was in town. We're here where I live, and he actually lives in that area. And I went and told him what happened. He goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, they didn't want you up there. You're not supposed to be up there at a certain time. Yeah, yeah, you just don't do it. It was no big deal. It happens so often that it just it was no big deal. It was just like, yeah, you shouldn't have been there, and that's all they were doing. They were just escorting you out. They don't want you there. So from what the locals had told me, that there's two on that one particular mountain. There's one that's a gray one, and one that's a younger that's completely black. And it's the gray one that's the alpha, and he's the one that watches that particular mountain. That's his mountain. That we're not supposed to go up there. So lesson learned. But it took me. Well, I didn't sleep that night, and I didn't sleep much the other night. But it took me a couple of days for the fear to kind of leave. I guess it was quite traumatic, and I understand like why people get scared and why they're portrayed as monsters though, because it's very terrifying when you come into contact like that with one of them. But if he wanted to kill us, he would have. So I take some solace in that. But it scared the living daylights out of me. I had never been so, and to this day, I've never experienced that fear ever. But it was just something that completely took me over. It was unbelievable. Yeah, that's how we got chased off the mountain. We haven't been, or no, we've been back once, but we went to the other side this time.
Oh, that's funny. So there was another one that chased you from the other side?
No,
Oh,
that was no, we've been back to that area since then, but we just haven't been on that one particular mountain.
oh, okay. I thought you were like, I thought these guys were taking over the mountains. I was like, that's not right. You can't even go on a
Oh,
mountain.
there's a abandoned gold mines up in this area, so it's
Oh,
full of caves and all kinds of stuff around that area, and like actually it's a cool place. It's a tourist spot. But
oh, wow.
if you go up there, there's lots of places for them to hide and just be away from people and stuff. And that's we learned our lesson. We actually found their house, and yeah, it was quite fascinating. But I want to go back up, but I kind of don't want to today.
Their
You said you found their
house.
house. Explain that. Sorry, Jen.
It was like a hut. It was like grass built on top of like a bush, and it was like a hut. That's the best way to explain it. It was a hut, but it was
Was
about
it long or was it tall or was it both?
no, it was maybe 4 feet off the ground. It came, yeah, about 4 feet off the ground, but it was big. It was probably 25 feet in radius, so it was pretty big.
Oh, I wish you had a picture because that sounds
Oh,
somewhat similar to the ones that get a little truth pimples on you.
I'm
Truth
gonna,
bubbles.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you guys.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, Stanley actually stuck his head in it once, and I thought it was a bear den. So I was like, "You're gonna die, man! Don't do that."
Oh no. How exciting. I can't wait to see that picture. Ooh,
Jenna likes to go inside those kinds of things.
Ooh,
gall darn it, yeah.
Jenna
See what's
does.
in there. Gotta see what's in there.
yeah, but
She's crazy.
that was my one and only terrifying incident with Sasquatch, and it kind of changed me. But um, I don't think that they're violent. I really don't. I think that they just don't want you around. They use fear as a way to get rid of you. That's what I think anyway, because they know we're scared of them.
I think that they know that if they hurt somebody, more people would come.
I just had this conversation with somebody on my podcast 2 days ago. Yeah, it was the same thing. Yeah, they're the odd one will be violent, I think, and get very aggressive to the point where it would hurt somebody, but not too often. I think they're more interested in keeping their family safe, and by doing that, they just got to get rid of us because we're destructive. People are destructive.
Yes. Yeah. That's one huge commonality. Is that the word? Maybe I just made it up. But that's a huge thing that a lot of people are saying, so it's a very shared opinion.
Yeah. And it's the more I'm learning and the more I'm talking to other people, it's just like the mainstream, I shouldn't say the mainstream media, but like the Bigfoot community has this stigma about them that they're monsters and they're to be feared. And I used to think the same thing. I don't think that anymore. I just think that they just don't want to have nothing to do with us. And they'll do what they have to make sure that they don't.
I don't think all of the Bigfoot community, because we know a lot of people in the Bigfoot community that don't think that they're monsters or, that they're bad or they're, honestly, we've heard more about Dogman being aggressive than Bigfoot.
I just had a lady on my show a couple of weeks ago, and she was convinced that she had an encounter with Sasquatch, and then she was telling me about it, and I'm like, "That's a dogman." And she never even heard of a dogman. And yeah, I can't remember what episode it was. It was just a couple of weeks ago. Oh shoot. A creature charged our truck, episode number 41.
All right, I'm writing that down.
Yeah, it's a quick story. I think it's only like 20 minutes. I had a couple of guests on that episode. But yeah, she was driving. She's a British Columbian, but she was vacationing with her husband and her daughter in Washington. They were going camping, and it was at night, I believe. And something charged their truck as they were driving, like aggressively charged their truck.
Wow.
And so I asked her, like, what did it look like? And she started explaining. It was covered in hair. It was tall. And then she said, "Oh, and it had a snout and pointy ears." And I'm like, and it just didn't. So I let her finish. But I'm like, have you ever heard of Dogman? Like that's what that sounds like. I mean, and Sasquatch aren't really known to be aggressive
like that.
Yeah.
So and Dogman are like they're well known for being overly aggressive and murderers, right? So I really think that she had an encounter with one, and I would not want to run into one of those at all. I have no interest in running into a dogman whatsoever.
Not a lot of people do. People say it changes their life, and they're so worse off for it. It's sad.
Have you guys got any reports of dogman?
We haven't looked into anything dogman, and I don't feel called to do that, honestly. So, maybe that's just not our thing. But, if they are aggressive, I guess I'm not really anxious to go meet one.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it was just happenstance that she happened to have an experience, and it just I'm convinced that she had an experience with dogman. She still believes it was a Sasquatch, is what she saw, but yeah, from the description that she told me, it was a dogman.
Well, pointy ears and a snout. Yeah, I've never heard of.
Not pointy ears, pointy teeth. I'm sorry, pointy teeth.
Oh, pointy teeth.
Yeah, I remember now. She said she couldn't see ears.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make it a little bit more difficult, I guess. And it being dark. And did you say that she saw what was charging her, or okay?
Yeah, her and her daughter both saw it, and her daughter was 10 or 11 at the time, I think.
I wish there was police people that would have that draw for police officers and police stations. I wish there was artists that would be able to come to some of these events.
Well, Jenna, if you had been to the Nebraska Bigfoot conference, you would be telling him to go talk to Michael right now.
You know how close I was to driving there the night before?
I know. I said, forget. She was taking me to the airport, and I said, Jenna, forget the plane. Let's just drive there.
I thought you were serious, and I was like, okay.
I was serious.
Oh,
I
you-
was totally serious.
You guys are. Oh, I can't imagine spending that much time in a car.
Oh, we have such a good time together. Oh my gosh, it is a blast.
Yeah.
Blast.
I'm one of those people though. If I get behind the wheel and I'm traveling somewhere, we're going there. We're not stopping. We're not doing. We're not in this for
Well,
having.
you're
a good time. We're there to drive and get to somewhere.
We still have to
I'm
stop
serious.
pee.
Yeah, we do. Well, we're not driving with you then. That's just fine.
We need to.
I'm kidding.
So no, but seriously, Michael Payton. You can find him on Facebook. He's a Bigfoot artist, and he likes to paint people's encounters or their sightings. He likes to paint what they saw.
Oh, cool.
Michael Payton. Yeah.
My pen is like right over there, and I can't reach it.
Well, I'll send you the link to his Facebook profile. And
Oh, sure.
yeah. And he's probably going to watch this show, and you'll be like, hey, yeah, I want to do that. So,
Yeah, for sure. That sounds good.
yeah. So, all right. Well, I have to get to bed because tomorrow is a super big day.
She just announced to 500 people today on another radio
It's
show.
a big secret.
What?
Her big secret. She just announced a huge secret.
We did an interview on Bigfoot Odyssey like earlier tonight, and
Oh, I love
I was
that.
like, yeah. So we were on there tonight, and I'm like, got exciting stuff happening tomorrow. And they're like, what? And I'm like, can't tell ya.
Oh, you like you haven't told anybody yet.
Well,
Well,
no,
now
I
she did.
did tell them, and I'm probably not supposed to tell them. So I'm going to stop recording, and then I'll tell you. And everybody watching this, you're going to know tomorrow on Facebook or next week when we come back on the show.
You can't
So
like that.
I'm going to tell you. We're going to say goodnight of the recording. Thanks for watching the after show, YouTube exclusive with Sheldon and the She Squatchers. All right, we'll see you later now, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.